All right, welcome on in, everybody. Time for the Alarm Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Andrew Cooper. Alongside me, Howard Bender, and it's Wednesday. Wednesday is the day of the people. It truly is. Tuesday we gotta stay a little rigid with the waivers and stuff. Thursday, all start sits. It's all hectic. It's crazy. Everybody wants their questions answered, but Wednesday, Wednesday is for the people. Whatever you guys want today, we definitely are talking trades. We're definitely talking DFS. If you want to talk about guys that trickled through the waivers that you might add, go ahead. If you want to try and sneak a start sit by us, maybe. We'll see how we're feeling. Tomorrow's usually start sit day, but yes, we are here today and we're hitting on all your trade questions for sure. Let me bring them in here. Bender, how we doing, man? How the waiver wire treat you? Did you go after anybody? Did you make any maneuvers?
Some good, some bad. As far as like making some moves, yeah. I mean, listen, I added Tyrone Tracy in the Sports Illustrated League, and then in the same breath, I traded Rico Dowdle for George Pickens with Andy Behrens. So, I've got. I mean, that team, running back wise, is crazy. It's like Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. I can't remember who my third one is offhand right now, but it's another really strong running back play. So Dowdle was sitting on my bench. It was no problem to trade him away. It definitely boosts my second wide receiver play with George Pickens. So, and adding Tyrone Tracy via waivers definitely kind of helps out there. Added Torrey Horton and Scott Fishbowl, Theo Johnson in my Steal Your Face league.
Torrey Horton out there in Scott
Couldn't believe
Fishbowl.
it.
That's
Couldn't
pretty
believe
because
it.
that league. The waivers are gross on that one. So I kind of love that. I love that.
But the move that happened that I did just I got tagged here and shout out to everybody in the Tweezers and Touchdowns League, bunch of fish heads in there. So I figured last week I needed I have JJ McCarthy and Jaden Daniels in a super flex. So when both got ruled out, I needed to grab somebody. Short benches, not a lot available. I tried to sneak in Kirk Cousins, right? When nobody was really paying attention, I was like, "Ooh, let me add Kirk Cousins here." Wasn't even waivers, right? It was like a straight like claim of Kirk Cousins. But then I had to drop somebody, so I dropped Kenneth Walker, who was on a bye. I couldn't drop anybody else.
Right.
And I figured, okay, because I was using
Everybody.
bodies and
Right.
Jackson Smith Najigba's on the team. He's on a bye. I couldn't get rid of him. I had like three other guys who were on a bye, so it wasn't flush. I figured, okay, who's the possibly the most expendable. If I lose them, I'm not going to be completely devastated, and yet I am completely devastated. I dropped Kenneth Walker. I put some fab on him for this week, trying to get him back. And I was kind of aggressive with the fab, not aggressive enough.
Mm.
So I lost him, and now I'm feeling the FOMO. I'm feeling kind of screwed out of it because Kirk Cousins was an absolute disaster this week. It was a
Yeah.
disaster.
Yeah, it wasn't didn't end up being worth it. Could have been worth it, wasn't worth it. I mean, we've all had those moments. Fantasy football is one game where at least I feel like once a month minimum, I just something happens that makes my face red. Where I'm just like, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I didn't put that in my lineup. Can't believe I made that trade. Can't believe I lost Kenneth Walker. It's like fantasy football gets on your skin, man. It's the highs and the lows that make it so awesome, man. Yeah. So away she goes. A lot of good moves there, it sounds like, though. I did a lot of housekeeping, adding and dropping kickers and defenses that were dropped on buys. I did spend some fab to get the Chargers defense against the Titans in the league. I also spent some fab in a league to get Chimray DK. I think that I like his
I like that.
role. Yeah, I like his role. I dropped Justice Hill, who is like, I mean, if he's not going to do anything in the negative game scripts, he's not going to do anything in the positive ones. So hopefully Chimray can hold up that role. I liked the fact that he actually played in some two wide receiver sets. That gives me some hope. He's the only one that can actually catch the ball from Cam Ward. It seems he's got 13 of his 15 targets. Everybody else has like a 50% catch rate. So feeling all right about that. So, but moving forward, waivers are done. Again, if you have late waiver questions, throw them in. See you guys in the chat. A couple people got in before we started. So good afternoon to Rod. Good afternoon to Chris Braden on the West Coast. Two Socks says broke the 2-week loss streak, 4-4, fifth place. Good matchup for week 9 going against 2 and 6. I mean, dude, I look at I was just telling Howard before the show, I'm looking at one of my 2 and 6 teams, and I'm like, this team can make the playoffs. This team could sneak in. I'm not completely out of it in points for. I've had some injuries, so never give up hope. And even if you're, even if you're 0 and 8, play spoiler, win some matchups, be that guy. That's what fantasy football is all about. So let me check first before we get into it, see if there's any member questions here. No member questions. We do have a member comment here from our good friend High Hopes. And I wish we could see those on here. You guys can see them on YouTube, the special emojis here. So, very cool. Let's jump in. Let's see what kind of questions folks have for trades. Again, highlighting trades today. We'll do start sits tomorrow. But, if there's not a lot of trade questions, throw in whatever. We'll see what we can do. Let's see. Chris says, my only question today regarding trades would be, does it make sense to trade for Rico given the recent news about Hubbard taking a back seat to him? And Bender was on the forefront of that. He had been doing his research, so you were kind of on top of that. Where do you live with that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think, does it make sense to trade for Rico? It depends on what you're paying for him. Literally, like I just said, I traded Rico Dowdle for George Pickens. It boosts my wide receiver spot, and he's expendable. He's a depth running back for me. If you are absolutely desperate for a running back and you don't have anybody, then sure, go for it, right? Make an offer and see what you can give. You can't. You got to make sure that you don't don't view Rico Dowdle as an RB1. You can't do that, despite the fact that Dave Canales likes giving volume to his running backs. He still has Chuba Hubbard, and he's still feeling like he owes something to Chuba Hubbard because of the contract that they gave him. So, it is very possible that if Rico Dowdle stumbles and wakes up one day and realizes that, oh shit, I'm Rico Dowdle, then maybe Chuba Hubbard starts to eat into it. So yeah. I'm okay with trading for him. Just don't give up too much for him. He's nowhere near even like a Breece Hall. He's nowhere near that.
I'll trade for him at yesterday's price, but not today, if that makes sense. If a person is still assuming split backfield, they're not hyped up on any news, then I would do it that way. I would trade that, but I'm not going to trade for him with this assumption that he's going to be just a super mega star all of a sudden, because they're still going to use both guys. I imagine the conversation that was had with Chuba Hubbard was like, hey, you've already been paid. We need you for the long term. We're not winning anything this year. Think about the conditions that got you paid last year. Let's give Rico some run here. It'll save the wear and tear on you. It'll get him paid. Sometimes you got to do that as a coach. I think it's really smart if you're in that position to do that. And we're going to see more teams, I'm telling you guys, doing live tryouts. The Tennessee Titans, for instance, I think they went to Tyler Lockett and said, hey, we're going to let the young kids play. And Tyler said, okay, release me. And they did. We've seen teams do this time and time again when they're out of contention. They say, okay, now it's tryouts for the future of this team. Who's going to be here late? Who's going to help this team moving forward? So you got to be careful with that. So I don't know if I'm super interested in going crazy trading for Rico because it's the Panthers still. Rod's got a trade request, half PPR. He was offered Brian Thomas and George Kittle, 4 Pickens and Judkins.
He was offered Brian Thomas and George Kittle for Pickens and Judkins. Yeah, I think that's a decline. Yeah. I mean, right now you can't say that BTJ is as good as Pickens, and Kittle's a great tight end, but you're giving up a solid running back. I know that Judkins is dealing with a shoulder injury. I still want to kind of hold on and wait and see with the bye week this week and see how he heals up on that. So, yeah, I'm going to say no to that.
With Brian Thomas, we wanted them to draft a big split end because then he could move into the slot and be that guy. Instead, they drafted Travis Hunter, and now Travis Hunter is playing the Chris Godwin role, and Brian Thomas Jr. is playing the Mike Evans role. But the Mike Evans role gets you really tough coverage every single week. And when your quarterback's not Baker Mayfield and you're not Mike Evans, it's really not that great, right? Even Mike Evans was kind of inconsistent. So I'm not surprised Brian Thomas Jr. is struggling when he's being asked to go up against the top corner every week with Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence has just not been good. His statistically, you look at his total production is fine, but his completion percentage is terrible. His his miss rate is like so rough. He's throwing really droppable passes. I've been a Trevor Lawrence guy. It's really hard to hold on in that sense. So we'll see. Let's see. Bowers. Oh, this is the rest of his team. So I definitely wouldn't trade for Kittle if you have Bowers. I would just pin my hopes to Bowers coming back. I really would. What's up, everybody saying what up in the chat? Wait a minute. Y'all are on opposite sides of my screen. What kind of sorcery is this? You want to switch? Does that make you feel better? We can do that for you. We can do that for you, Braden. Unless anybody in the chat is opposed, we'll rock on this side today. Yesterday, I flipped Pickens and Jalen Warren for James Cook.
That's great.
We like that one. Today, I flipped Sutton, Tracy, and K9 for Rashi and Bam Knight. So
I like that less.
I like a little less, yeah. The thing is, Billy, I'll ask you this. The thing is, if this is like a 10-team league and guys like K9 and Tracy weren't really cracking your lineup, then I do like it. Sutton just had a bad game, but I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah. The problem here is Bam Knight is he's playing on borrowed time right now.
Yeah, 1 week start.
He's got a great matchup here against Dallas on Monday Night Football. But after that, I mean, again, remember they re-signed Michael Carter to the practice squad, but they're going to leave him down there right now while they kind of they look towards Trey Benson at a possible comeback, not this week, but the week after. So if Trey Benson comes back the week after, Bam Knight he goes back to the bench.
Right. I would have much rather done Sutton and one of the running backs for Rice. Right. I would have lived with, because you would much rather have either Tracy or Walker than Bam on your team still. So, but hey, you know what? Let us know who the rest of your lineup is, because if you weren't starting any of those guys anyway, and Rice is the only guy that goes in your lineup.
I don't care what the rest of his lineup is. The trade is done. We've said it. We've weighed in. Good luck with it.
Good luck. Dynasty, top competitor, but lost Scatterbo. Would you rather Josh Downs and a third to get Warren? Which Warren? Jalen Warren or Tyler Warren?
People, please. You know what? I mean, listen, I'm going to go on this rant already today on the Fantasy Alarm Show, but I literally sat there this morning in Discord, and it's maddening. It really is, because it delays it. It forces us to have to ask you another question about it, right? Higgins, Jaden or T, Warren, Tyler or Jalen, Smith, Devontae or Jonnu, Wilson, Roman or Michael, Brown, Hollywood or Chase, Williams, Javonte or Jameson. You see where I'm going here, people? Use full names. Do not give us just, that. And you can't even give us first initial either. Williams, is that Javonte or is that Jameson? Make it easier, and it's going to make this show flow a lot faster. A lot faster.
So help us help you. We got a question here. $2 super chat. Appreciate you. Nothing to it. Man. Nothing to it. T. Higgins or Travis Hunter rest of season. T. Higgins bailed his day out with the big touchdown, only 2 targets. I'll tell you this, Bender, and then I'll see if you agree or not. I'm in on Travis Hunter, man. I'm wheels up on Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Like, he basically did the Chris Godwin 3-year career arc over the course of 7 weeks. Like, he started as a part-time guy. Then he got a couple snaps out wide. They liked what they saw. They gave him more snaps. He had a good game. They let him play the whole game last week. He had 100 yards on 14 targets. Like, he's now in the role that we've seen Godwin play for Liam Cohen, that we've seen Cooper Kupp play for Liam Cohen. It's the role that CeeDee Lamb's in. It's the role that Cooper Kupp used to be in for, it's just like it's the best role for fantasy. It's the role Jackson Smith and Jigba plays. Travis Hunter right now has a monster upside. We'll see if it keeps going or it hits. But I mean, in that role, in this scheme, the possibilities are endless. And he got 14 targets last week. So I do like Travis Hunter. He's a buy. Probably we said buy low last week, and I'm still buying. I'm continuing to buy. I'm buying high now.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched. I've got him as my as a defensive back in an IDP league.
So J Dabs, throw that one back in, and we'll hit it, dude. Just tell us which Warren. That's all, and we'll do it. Rashad Smith Isaiah Davis or Devin Neal have independent value or just handcuffs? Brashad Smith now has more independent value than they all have some independent value, but with this Pacheco situation with the knee, who knows, right? That's kind of a who knows.
Yeah, I think Brashard Smith and Devin Neal both have independent value right now. Isaiah Davis does, but he's still going to play behind Brees Hall. Maybe he gets, a little pop if they trade Brees over the next 2 weeks. That's something that you're definitely going to have to keep an eye on.
1
But if
week,
I'm
Bender.
ranking, if
1
I'm
week
ranking these,
next Tuesday.
yeah,
Only
November
1 week.
4th.
So maybe hold Davis. Maybe hold Davis just for the next 5 days then,
Yeah.
just to see.
Yeah. I mean, if you had to drop one of these guys here, I would probably drop Neal.
Yeah.
Only because it's not even so much that he's behind Kamara. It's just, it's a bad situation. He's he can power run, but this team is never going to need a power runner right now because
So
they're always playing from behind.
I talked about this on Monday with Iggy, and here's what I think happened, Bender. Because Neal got 3 targets this week and no carries. I think that what they did with Neal, what they do with a lot of rookies, is they figured that Kamara would be the one that got hurt, and they probably prepped Neal to be like the backup pass catcher, assuming Kamara would get hurt and Kendra Miller would be the early down back. And the opposite happened, and this guy Neal's not ready to be the early down back. You saw it this week. Neal was a pass catching back for some reason, and Kamara was early down back, which makes no sense, dude. I mean, Kamara is borderline unstartable, but Neal didn't get a carry, so I'm with you. I think Neal's a droppable guy right now in that crew. But Brashad Smith is the closest to an independent role, if that's the true question for you.
Yeah.
Should I drop Matthew Golden, pick up Christian Watson? Watson looked good, man. That's a very interesting question all of a sudden.
All right. Watson did look good, but let's kind of like hash this out here a little bit because, well, I don't believe that the hamstring issue is behind him. I don't care about whatever surgery or asymmetrical hamstring nonsense, voodoo, tea leaves or whatever it was that they sprinkled. Maybe they threw some crystals on him or something like that. I don't know. But you're not going to have Jordan Love throwing these rainbow passes up. I mean, I said was it on this show or was it on Fantasy Alarm on Sirius XM when I was like that whole like that big giant pass that Watson came down with, right? That was like, to me, it was like the movie Along Came Polly, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's like raindrops, right? And he's just chucking the ball downfield. You're not going to get a lot of that. You shouldn't get a lot of that. The Pittsburgh secondary, let's face it, they might have big names like Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay and Joey Porter Jr., but these guys have been atrocious this year. Like Pittsburgh's secondary is ranking low in DVOA. They're giving up a lot of work to wide receiver ones. And I don't want to sit here and like fully endorse. I've got Watson in a couple of spots, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, he's going to be the be all end all. What you saw last week is not necessarily what you're going to see every week moving forward. And I think that's something that people really need to like just kind of pump the brakes here, right? You can't be so reactionary to the point where you're like, you're over investing in a player who's probably just going to be average at best. I mean, maybe, catches a long touchdown and everybody's like, oh, Bender, you're an idiot. But then again, maybe he goes 4 catches for 42 yards and nothing else.
He's probably Alec Pierce. I'm holding Watson where I can, but the thing is, Matthew Golden still has the more unknown upside. He does. So for rest of the season, it's still Golden. He's operating out of the slot and playing out wide too. But Watson, I mean, I'm trying to hold both, but it's Golden over Watson for me. And you're right. He's probably like Alec Pierce moving forward. How's everybody doing? Well, my daughter was sick. My wife is very sick, and I'm starting to get sick. So yeah, over here, not so good. How are you doing over there, Bender?
The following segment was brought to you by Trojan Condoms. Yeah. Don't have kids, don't get sick.
Yeah, I was in a bouncy house this weekend just throwing kids are like, ah, and I think that part might have been part of the problem we ran into here. We move on. Millie Mill, the rest of the roster for that trade. Love, Cook, Henry, Chase Brown, Lamb, Rice, Egbuka, Golden, Franklin Pitts. So this is a shallow league where he just wanted to get the best player in the trade. So you know what, Millie? I changed my stance and I like the trade. You could have done
I
better.
still think you overpaid in that
You
second
overpaid.
trade.
You overpaid, but sometimes you got to overpay if you want to go for greatness. I mean, your team's a lot thinner now, but I like your team at least. In a deep 12 team league, Jerry Jeudy was dropped to waivers. Is he worth a pickup? Need to know who you're dropping there. Give us any name that you would drop, and we'll tell you.
And then I'll just still say no right now.
Probably say no. Yeah. Likes and love for Laney. Yep, that's right. What's up, fam? How we doing, everybody? We got a lot of what's up in the houses here. Thoughts with Giddens being inactive the last couple of games? Do you think he's a pure rushing handcuff with JT getting all the volume? He is pointless there on game day, but the cup. See, that is what you have to believe. But the thing about it, Luke, is that because of that group of players, the nature of it is that there's enough of them that we can be more sure about that it's hard to hold on to Giddens unless it's a very deep league. Like now that he's a healthy scratch, I'd rather have Brian Robinson. I'd rather have Tyler Algier. I'd rather have Blake Corum. Like, because there's less questions, right, Bender? Like this guy, like this is just a theory now. Whereas with Brian Robinson, with Tyler Algier, we definitely know. But with Brian Robinson, we kind of know. With Blake Corum, we can be pretty confident. With this theory, it's like that to me turns into, okay, I can drop Giddens because he's been healthy and active. And if anything happens to JT, I will be the one that adds him because people will probably be adding Amir Abdullah now. So that's kind of how we're looking at that. It's like I'm holding in deep leagues, but there are better handcuffs now, more safer handcuffs. Isaiah Davis, all these guys. RJ Harvey worth trying to trade. What's his worth? He just scored 3 touchdowns, so if you're going to trade him, that's time.
I mean, the question is why do you want to trade him? Do you have a need? Like, forget about what's he worth. The question is if you have him on your roster, is somebody asking for him? Do you have a need at wide receiver? Do you have a need at running back that that he can't fill? Like anybody's tradable. Anybody. Jonathan Taylor is tradable if you really need to. Like that's the thing. And a player's value is exactly equal to what somebody's willing to pay for him.
Yeah.
So
and players like Harvey, players like Travion Henderson, they are still the highest upside bench plays. So I'll tell you this, if you're going to trade those players, the player you get back better be in your lineup every week.
Simple as that. I agree with that statement for sure. I do. It's just you need to have a purpose here for trading. Like set up targets. You can't just, I love you, Hope, but you can't just ask what's his worth.
Right. Yeah. It's the toughest player for that because like he just had 3 touchdowns. Anyone that watched the game knows that he probably shouldn't have 3 touchdowns. One of them, they gave J.K. Dobbins 3 carries in a row at the goal line. And then when Dobbins was tired, they gave it to Harvey and Harvey managed to get it. But if they gave it to Dobbins again, he would have gone into it.
What I like is that they are giving Harvey work inside the red zone, but he's still only playing like a 25 to 30% snap share. That's what you have to pay attention to. I don't know. Does this turn into a situation like Kareem Hunt, where he's getting all the red zone touches out of that backfield? Maybe it could. I don't think it does, but for that same token, also, is J.K. Dobbins really a big bastion of health? Do we maybe wonder
the least healthy player maybe of all time? Like
at some point, does Dobbins get hurt?
That's what I'm saying. Hope has a couple other questions. She's a member. Fred's a member. We see you guys. If you want to skip the line, easy way to do it. Hit that join button. And I've been preaching to the choir with folks like Nothing to It. I see you doing the $2 super chat, and people do those all the time. Becoming a member is only $5 a month. So rather than doing a $2 super chat or a $5 super chat, if you just become a member, it's basically unlimited super chats. So we absolutely appreciate it. And if you only have like one question every now and again, definitely that's the way to go. But I'm just trying to help you with in terms of cost efficiency. If you're going to be popping in on the Sunday morning show, especially, much easier to go that way. Is Gunnar Helm better to play this week over Chiggy? Picking Gunnar up, but have Chig also. That is such a tough question because they like playing both. Gunnar Helm plays more inline. Chig plays more out of the slot. They're both. I have them both ranked back to back. Chig runs more routes still as of now, so I have Chig ahead. But picking up both those guys is a dangerous game. I really hope they should trade Chig Okonkwo. He's in the last year of his deal. He's probably not going to be part of the future. Teams out there, if they're looking for a pass catching tight end, should be knocking the door and asking about Chig Okonkwo because that's the kind of guy that should be moved at the deadline, if you ask me. But for the time being, it's kind of like a stay away for both. It's kind of like AJ Barner versus Elijah Arroyo now. When there's a split, you got nothing, you know? So don't love it. Would you trade? Oh, sorry, we're not here. We're going to move back up after we do Fred's. Fred, 12 team, half PPR, one flex. That's how you set up a question. Should I consider these tight ends? Trying to find the next Gadsden. Hunter Henry, Evan Engram, Mason Taylor, Colston Loveland, Elijah Arroyo, Isaiah Likely. So Hunter Henry has a terrible matchup this week. Maybe the Falcons are a bad matchup. Engram is still kind of a part-time guy. Wow, we buried the lead, Howard. Two
Yeah,
major.
I was just gonna say, it was like as soon as you
two,
said, I saw Engram's name, I was like, we are talking
two,
Mercedes Lewis in
two
5,
major,
4,
two
3,
major
2.
contracts. Two major contracts signed yesterday. One contract, Aiden Hutchinson, 4 years, $180 million with $141 million guaranteed. That's pretty big. But the biggest signing from yesterday, the Denver Broncos are signing Mercedes Lewis to the practice squad. If he gets elevated to the team, he will be the oldest tight end to ever play football, 41 years old. Good blocking tight end. This is bad news for Adam Troutman. Doesn't mean anything for Engram. If you're looking for the next Gadsden in terms of a guy that comes out of nowhere to have high upside, the most similar possible player would be Elijah Arroyo. Last week he came out and got 5 targets. Probably saw Gadsden and said, "Hey, let's try using our rookie today." He got 5 targets. In terms of separation score, Howard, if you take every tight end that's run at least 10 routes, Elijah Arroyo is number 1, and he's number 2 in separation score versus man-to-man, besides only Darren Waller. Hopefully, they potentially installed something for him during the bye week here, but there's a chance that he just comes out and gets more targets, and Cooper Kupp looks brutal. Torrey Horton's a part-time player. AJ Barner's more of a blocker. That's the kind of player that could come out of nowhere, out of that group. The guy that you probably should stash, though, that is the closest to actually being relevant is Mason Taylor. With all that said, right? Mason Taylor's led the team in routes run, led the team in targets last week.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have anybody. They literally don't have anybody. Josh Reynolds went on IR. I'll throw a little Loveland love out there. Just, if Cole Kmet's back issue continues to be in a bad spot, I actually really like Loveland this weekend against Cincinnati. Like, here's a team that struggles to cover the tight end. I think they're giving up like the second or third most fantasy points per game to the tight end position. So I would definitely take a look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so again, it's like if you're looking for pure upside, I've been saying it, the two Elijahs, Elijah Arroyo, if things break right for him, or Elijah Higgins, if Trey McBride ever gets hurt. Those are kind of the paths to like moon rocket upside. But Loveland, first round pick, 10th overall. If he balls out this week, maybe they just say, hey, you know what? Time to let this guy play more. And that's an easier path. So let's get back in there. Here we go. Need help with my RB room in a 10-man. Start 3. So Shane wants to start sit. Usually we reserve those for tomorrow. If there's any sort of injury concern, then we might pass on it. But let's take a look. Start 3 of Genty, Walker, Warren, Cook, Hunt, Tracy. I mean, can't go away from James Cook after what he just did.
Yeah, you have, and it's not after what he just did.
After what he's been doing for 2 years.
It's what he's been doing, what his role is. Like, you can't add a name like Cook into this mix here. He's an automatic start for you. Right. If he's not an automatic start for you, and this is your running back room, then Shane, you need some serious help, dude.
Yeah.
I don't mean to yell at people, but yeah, I kind of do, because you guys aren't helping your own case here, right? Because he's got a tough matchup against Kansas City. He's one of the top running backs in fantasy right now.
Yeah, he's locked in. I'm also going to start Genty against the Jaguars just because he's getting the full workload. Those other guys, the only other one that I can really trust his workload is Jaylen Warren, and he might be the other one of the 3 for me. As much as I hate to say it, Kenneth Walker, I want to see more of him. Ian Hartitz had a tweet. He created a new stat he calls "cool shit" Bender, and he took touchdowns plus broken tackles plus explosive plays divided by touches, carries plus targets. And the three leaders in that stat are Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, and Kenneth Walker. Please just give the man the ball. But as of now, if he's not getting the goal line work, it's probably Genty, Warren, and Cook, right? We don't even know what Tracy's going to be looking like.
You know what? I mean, listen, in all honesty, I mean, Pittsburgh's going up against the Colts. They've got a good, solid run defense. If Jonathan Taylor starts mowing them down, they're going to end up, Rodgers is going to throw the ball. I'm going to start Hunt. Give me a reason not to start Kareem Hunt when he's getting all the red zone carries, in this game, that Isaiah Pacheco is banged up and hurt. And you're also looking at the fact that it's against Buffalo, and Buffalo gives up the third most rushing yards per game. So I get it, he's banged up or whatever, but they're going to have to, if Isaiah Pacheco can't go this week, which I don't think he's going to be able to go. They're calling him week to week. I don't listen, maybe Hunt's sharing the role with Brashard Smith, but Andy Reid goes with the guys he trusts the most, and he trusts Kareem Hunt inside the red zone. And I think that's definitely something you got to pay attention to. More than, Jaylen Warren with Kenneth Gainwell and Arthur Smith and his 6 tight ends and all that other nonsense there. Going up against
Warren. Jaylen Warren's been good, man. If Jaylen Warren, he just only has 1 touchdown. That's the thing. He's getting 50.
Okay. But it's not about just touchdowns for me here. In this case here, it's about his usage. And
good.
The fact
his usage is good, though.
And the fact that they've got Kenneth Gainwell in here. I'm going to his game log. Yeah, he's seeing double-digit carries. He's had 1 game where he's done something with double-digit carries.
4.5 yards carry on the season.
And that was against Cincinnati.
I think that I'm going more. Because, dude, 15 to 20 touches every week, though. He's getting targets, too.
All right, here we go. This is our bet. This is our bet this week. We'll figure it out.
As far as
Warren versus bet.
Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt versus Jaylen Warren this week here, week number 9.
See what you did, Shane? See what you've done? This is why we don't do start sits on Wednesday. It tears this family apart. It tears this family apart. The threads of this the fabric of this community is based on no start sits on Wednesday. Look what happens. But yes, Shane, you're going to need another opinion between Warren and Hunt, because now we're going to have some sort of bet. One of us is probably going to have.
Oh no, we're definitely having a bet. We're definitely going to bet this one here, Coop. This is a put up or shut up kind
loser. All right, let's mutually agree on a large amount of the worst kind of candy for Halloween.
Okay,
and we'll see. Actually, do I even want those terrible calories? I don't like. We'll figure it out. We'll brainstorm on that. Yeah, let us know what the Halloween bet should be. Brees and BTJ for Bucky and Pittman. Whoa, if you have a good record, I think I would go Bucky and Pittman. If you can just eat it, if you got 6 wins, 6, 7, 8 wins, give me Bucky and Pittman.
Yeah, I agree.
5 wins. 5 wins. Do you do it?
If you're 5-3 right now, yeah, I still think you can do it. Just depending on where you are in the standings. Like if you're in 5-3 and you're like middle of the pack and you're tied with like 4 other people and you're lowest on total points, then I might balk at that. Nah, screw it, man. Bucky's coming back.
Check your league. How many teams make the playoffs? This is so underrated. So Howard, I was talking about that 2-6 team where I have Mahomes and Lamb and Bucky and AJ Brown, and everyone's trying to pry them away from me. That's a 14-team league where 8 teams make the playoffs. More than half the league makes the playoffs. That's why I'm sitting back and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'd rather die with my good players because I can make the playoffs with a losing record. So check your league. If it's a league where like 12 teams, 6 make the playoffs, go big. Go big. Coop, I'll listen to your advice this week since I did not last week. Oh, didn't listen to our advice. Howard, he didn't listen to our advice last week. Why don't we give him some early look at the slate this week? Some guys we like. I'll give you one that I already mentioned. Travis Hunter, man. They have not bumped his price accordingly, in my opinion, for his new role where he's a full-time player in the slot, Chris Godwin style role, going against the Raiders, arguably the worst secondary maybe in all football. I'm gonna have some Travis Hunter this week. Oh, yes, I will. Coming out of the bye. Rookie coming out of the bye, already a full-time player, going up against the Raiders. Travis Hunter, gonna be in some of my lineups.
Yeah,
No question about
definitely
it.
gonna
What
be in
about
some
you,
of my
Bender?
lineups too. Let's see. I don't know. I've got a couple of them listed in the DFS watch list. I like Darius Slayton again this week. I think he's in a good spot
Yes.
against the San Francisco 49ers. And he'd be priced up more if they didn't call that ridiculous touchdown offensive pass interference. The defensive back grabs his wrist and then he kind of like shakes him off like that, and they call that offensive pass interference, which was just
Dude.
a terrible, terrible call there. I
If
definitely
that's
like
if
Slate.
that's Devontae Adams, then the you got Chris Collinsworth talking about how great his hand checking was.
Yeah,
But because it's Darius, right? It's because it's Darius Slayton. Devontae Adams could just shove you in the throat all he wants, and they don't never call that. Darius Slayton shakes a guy off his hand, and that's offense pass interference. Get out of here.
yeah. You know who else I think? Yeah, long touchdown for Luther Burden this week.
Luther.
Luther.
Luther Burden the third. He should be a Viking with that name. That is Luther Burden. Like his father before him and his father before him. Yes, I could see a Luther Burden. Has he cleared concussion protocol? I know he was shaken up, but we'll have to follow that if he's going. I like Kyle Pitts. I mean, I'm telling you, dude, if any other tight end was top 5 in route participation, target share, screens, pass block rate, receptions versus man-to-man, forced missed tackles. If everyone tight end was top 5 in every category like that, we would love him. But because it's Kyle Pitts, we don't. He's third in receptions for all tight ends, and he already had his bye week. The negative stigma on Kyle Pitts has gone too far. It's gone too far. Kyle Pitts to the moon. Buy low on Kyle Pitts. Start him in DFS this week. Andrew Jeffrey. Can you throw the kids one more, Bender? You got one more you're liking early, or was that all top secret?
Well, I mean, if Kareem Hunt is super cheap this week, definitely want to go after him. Colston Loveland, who I mentioned also. I think that's I think the Bears are going to surprise some people this week, or at least not surprise people, but I think that a lot of people are going to be out on the Bears this week because Caleb Williams' play has been as spotty as it's been. I don't know if Trey Hendrickson is coming back for Cincinnati, and I mean, just their defense is just absolutely atrocious. So I think that they can establish some groundwork there, and it kind of takes the pressure off of Caleb Williams. But I think that he is in a spot where, we're going to see the Bears kind of, step into the limelight a little bit here, at least for this week. And then everybody will completely overreact. And then everybody will overinvest in the Bears next week. And you'll start seeing everybody start trading for DJ Moore because he got into the end zone or something like that. And nobody puts context on it. So we'll see.
Ain't that the way?
Ain't that the
That's
way?
probably exactly what's going to happen, man. It's like the tight end position with a hot new flavor every week because they scored. Jacob Fanta, Javonte Williams plus Kelsey, or RJ Harvey for Justin Jefferson. So packaging either Kelsey or Harvey with Javonte to get Jefferson.
Javonte plus Kelsey or Harvey. So it's one of the other.
The more context here is he has Mahomes, and he has Gadsden. I think with Gadsden, I would do that. I think I would do Kelsey and Javonte.
Yeah, I don't want to trade 2 running backs, right? I mean, I just want to make sure you're going to need to hold on to some depth, especially. I mean, listen, JT, Saquon, maybe they lighten his load a little bit here. I think that you don't want to slit your throat, right? Giving Javonte and Harvey means that you've got JT, Saquon, and Benson. And that's it.
You need Benson. Yeah, I think having both Harvey and Benson as kind of a floor play Benson, upside play Harvey is a good combo. So I do it though, because like I always say this at tight end, if you can trade one in a single tight end league, do it, and we'll figure it out, man.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. That's like the one thing we're always plugged in on, is trying to figure that out. The reason you got Gadsden is because we're staying plugged in and we're doing that. So a lot of people out there, if they're sitting there with Kelsey, they don't even think to add Gadsden. So you've already made the smart move. Now leverage it. I love that move. Good play. Let's see, Brendan, would you trade Hampton and Sharp Hampton for Sharb and Aaron Jones. RBs are Benson, Bam, Bucky, ETN. Nah, I think you got enough to start right now. I'm only liquidating a player like that if I'm getting 2 players I'm starting. Would you even start both Sharb and Aaron Jones this week with Bucky and ETN and Chase
Yeah,
Brown?
so that's the
I think you
thing.
just
Bucky,
started.
ETN, and Chase Brown would start for you over Sharbs or Aaron Jones. Bam Knight is only
Yeah,
you've got Brendan. We've talked about
and
this
Benson too.
we've talked about this with each other throughout, right? He did not properly prepare for the bye weeks last week, and he was trying to make some rando trade that would have like crushed him in certain things. I get that. Hampton stashing him is frustrating, right? But you're
Yeah,
trading him, a guy who could end up being an RB1 for like your playoff run, right? Week 12, week 13, week 14, you could see Hampton coming back here. Sharp and Aaron Jones, these are guys that are like matchup based. You're gonna drive yourself crazy trying to make these decisions. You're not getting anybody who's startable.
yeah. Plus, you might be starting Bam Knight this week. You just start chasing Bam. I would start Bam Knight over Sharb for sure this week against the
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys, and maybe even Aaron Jones too, dude. So hang on to
Or
him.
tell you
Hang on.
what, like make a deal. Like if Hampton's frustrating you this much, make a deal. Trade Chase Brown and Hampton for a better running back.
Yes. Yeah, you need to
Yeah,
consolidate. That's what you got to
consolidate
do.
it as opposed to like giving yourself more garbage for your bench.
More headaches. Yeah. Trick or treat. Tyrone Tracy over prop.
Oh, I didn't even.
I haven't looked, but I blindly will say
What's his
treat.
prop at? Did they announce it?
Without looking, the answer's treat
The answer's
because I love
treat without it,
Tyrone
without even.
Tracy.
I don't
I'm a
know.
Tyrone
I don't
Tracy
know.
guy. I'm pot committed. I will admit that I'm biased. Dude, if like I have so much Tyrone Tracy, and you can't even victory lap that because he got beat out flat out by Cam Scatterbo, but I'm rooting for Tracy. I have a ton of
47
him
and a
invested.
half rushing yards over at BetMGM. They got it at minus
Trick.
110 for the over, minus 118 for the under. That's just rushing yards.
Because they don't want you betting the
I need to
under.
see rushing and receive. Like that's the thing. I'll look at rushing and receiving yards for Tyrone
It's
Tracy. I don't
60.
want to
Let's
look
say
at
it's
just
60.
rushing.
Let's say it's 60 rushing plus receiving. Trick or treat.
60? I'll
Yeah.
take the under.
Yeah. So, dude, I can't have that.
If you said it was like 55, then maybe
That's only 13. But that's realistic though, right? Like 47 and a half rushing total, and then his over under receiving is going to be like 13 and a half. They always set it at 12 and a half or 13 and a half yards for like every running back, right? Or besides HN. So it's probably going to be 60. Which I'm going treat. Very excited. Very
I'll
excited to
pass on
challenge
it,
Tracy to
thank you.
backdoor his way into some points for me. Oh, we got the Twitch gang in the house with Broly. Holy Broler. What's up, dude? Yo, trade Kyron, get Rice. Non-PPR. In a vacuum, I say yes.
Sure, in a vacuum, just depends on who you got. I mean, who's at running back for you?
All right. We got to know a little more info from the Twitch gang. Should I trade Monty for Kamara? Ooh, man.
No.
Change of scenery play there.
There's a change of scenery play there, but
yeah, because the thing about Monty you got to remember is that both these guys on a weekly basis probably have similar, they're ranked about similarly for me, but Monty has the hidden upside of Jahmyr Gibbs possibly getting hurt. That's the difference between these guys. There's nothing outside of a trade to a great team. There's no catalyst for Kamara, but there is a quiet, secret catalyst for Monty that no one likes to talk about. No one likes to talk about the possibility that he's the handcuff plus and he gets the big bump.
Kamara has to go somewhere where he is going to be strictly a pass catching running back. That's where he has to land.
Kamara has 6 days to get out of there. Otherwise, he's just.
I don't think he wants to, and he's got a big contract too. So I don't necessarily know if anybody wants to pick that up.
He said he doesn't want to. He said he doesn't want to. Kellen Moore, Mickey Loomis doesn't care what Kellen Moore thinks. Like Mickey Loomis is trying to set up guys that are going to the Hall of Fame with the black and gold like that. I feel like that's what he's doing. Should I move Kelsey for Walker or Tracy? I already have Warren at tight end. Well, if you have Warren at tight end, then yeah, Kelsey for Kenneth Walker is probably about the best you're going to get, right? I think that's pretty good. I like that. Good job. Travis Hunter this year's Bucky Irving for Liam Cohen. He's this year's could be this year's Chris Godwin. Kyle Murphy. Chris Godwin last year before he got hurt was the tight end, the wide receiver 2 in all of fantasy football. That's what Travis Hunter is. The Bucky Irving's his Liam the if you're looking for this year's Bucky Irving, maybe it's Bashal Tootin if Travis Etienne gets nicked up. That's kind of how we got Bucky last year. I have May and Dak has maybe come to set it and forget it QB, not only in season long, but also DFS. Well, maybe, but not this week because May faces the Falcons, which is not a good matchup. And Dak faces the Cardinals in a big shootout game, which is a good matchup. So I have to update my rankings because I think I had it backwards. But I don't like May this week as a passer.
Wow.
Well, I'll tell you why, dude. I mean,
ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages.
I will preface it with go fast because I'm looking at JJ McCarthy and I'm like, I tweeted this out. Everyone was like, after JJ McCarthy played the Falcons, everyone was like, oh, he sucks. He's a bust. But then I remembered, dude, no one's throwing on the Falcons. Here's the passing yards against the Falcons this year. Baker Mayfield, 167 yards. JJ McCarthy, 158. Bryce Young, 121. Marcus Mariota, 156. Josh Allen, 180. Mac Jones, who throws for 300 yards against everyone, 152. And then, of course, the person that's thrown for the most yards all year against the Falcons would be Tua with 205, which isn't even a good game. Right. Every single one of those quarterbacks, but Tua is the only one of those quarterbacks that threw for more yards than his average per game this year. So Falcons are just a bad matchup, dude. Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell and the rookie Xavier Watts. So I have to recognize a bad matchup for Drake May. Even though he dressed up as Dragonite this week and he's going to have those powers with him, it's not going to be enough. Since no chance of a Calcaterra wine mixer this week, how about a Colston Loveland wine mixer?
I'm okay with that. Cincinnati's terrible against the tight end.
There you go.
Just need Cole Kmet out. That's the key to it. That's the linchpin. Cole Kmet has to sit out.
Yep. J Dabs here corrected his question. It was Jalen Warren. Here we go.
I don't know. You know what?
Yes.
Hey, Dabs, I'll say this. I have seen some of the craziest freaking trades around. So, yeah.
Why not? Yeah. Also mentioned losing Scatabo. Yes, you're right. Okay. Well, here, we'll go up and answer your question. Trust me, it's a lot, dude. Doing it on the fly live. Would you rather Josh Downs plus third to get – not to mention, here's the real problem with the J-Dabs is that we've done this so many times where we go through and we do a full analysis of the situation and we give all the stats, and then the person in the chat goes, actually, I meant Tyler Warren. And then we got to go back and do it again. You know what I mean? So would you rather Josh Downs in a third to get Warren or a 2026 first plus JCM plus Tesla for Kyron plus Corum? I mean, you're trading away a lot. I mean, I would trade I would actually trade the first in JCM and Tesla for Kyron if you're a competitor. Yeah. I would do that one and just get Kyron and Corum and have the Rams running back situation locked down for years and years. I think that's what I would do in Dynasty. So there you go. And then he said something mean about your sweatshirt, dude, which I don't like that. It's a very
what
nice.
What did he say? Blue sweatshirt is insufferable.
Best of luck with the channel. Okay, J Dabs, we answer your question. Get out of here. Maybe just give us the context we need to help your fantasy team. That's all we're asking. We're not asking for too much here.
Oh no,
I don't think we're asking for too much here.
You're so mean to me.
Would you send Gadsden for a 2026 first? Other tight end is Kraft and Strange. So there's a dynasty trade as well.
I mean,
taking a guy you got off waivers and getting the first round dynasty pick. I don't know. If somebody asked me this question about Isaiah Likely a couple years ago, I don't know. That's tough.
A first round pick for Gadsden? I think I would do it.
I think I would just do it, man. And because you have Kraft. If you didn't have Kraft, I don't really care about Strange. If you didn't have Kraft, I wouldn't do it. But I think I would do it, man. I'm 4-4 and wondering if I should trade Hampton. I offered Sharp and Aaron. Oh, we did this one.
Brethren. Yeah, we did this already.
We only need to ask you questions once, friends and family. Jacoby Merritt worth spot on my bench. I would probably, Shakir has been He's been good.
Yeah, I mean, I would drop Coleman if you need a drop. Yeah, I would keep Krosky Merritt. I think he's going to definitely improve. He's seeing more volume, and I think that he improves with Jaden Daniels under center. It's a different dynamic than with Marcus Mariota. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Ferg and Gadsden, which one for Debo?
Hey, Ferg, guess which one should I trade for Debo? In this case, I would trade Ferg. Ferg is not a yardage guy. Ferg is more of a red zone kind of a touchdown upside guy. Right. I think you're better off holding Gadsden here.
Right. It was a bad matchup last week for Ferg for sure, but I made a 0 spot. Yikes. Should I drop Rachaad White for Godwin, who's on waivers? If you're not starting Rachaad White now, then he's droppable, and I think I would do that.
Yeah.
Is Tracy gonna
shit
the bed from Chortle this, or is he worth dropping either Harvey or Gadsden for? No, wait. See, that's tough.
I mean, he's in a better situation for touches than Harvey is.
Harvey's got bigger upside.
But if Harvey's got better upside.
If you're going to start Tracy, if you plan to start Tracy, then do it. Otherwise, I'd hold the guys you have. They have bigger upside. Sending Pittman plus Charves for Achane, even as a monster Pittman fan, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I think it's worth it.
Yeah. Any hopeful insider news on Travion Henderson, Jacoby Myers? I mean, keep an eye out for, I'll tell you, that guy Pretty Ricky seemed pretty confident, or he was hinting that Jacoby Myers could be traded to the Patriots. With Henderson, I think that as our own John and Pemba pointed out last week, it was just a matchup that skewed towards outside running. I think it's going to go back to a split with Ramondre getting the early and inside work here. So considering stashing both over Jaden Reed while Trey Benson's on my bench, I would go Henderson over Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed has to come back from 2 injuries. He had 2 different surgeries, right? He had the collarbone and the foot. So who knows when he'll be back. Favorite Halloween candy. I saw you do the chocolate debate on the show last night. I do love Butterfinger. If you could create a Butterfinger that didn't get stuck in your teeth, it would be the best candy of all time.
Did you see that there's now a marshmallow Butterfinger?
No.
Yeah, Google that one there. I was told about that on yesterday's show. Sounds like a Fluffernutter sandwich to me.
Now you're talking about language.
Nothing wrong with that.
Outside though, huh? Okay, I gotta get involved with this. Butterfinger gets so stuck in your teeth, bro. And that GIF you posted on Twitter,
weird, right?
It lives in my head, dude. No one ever once has eaten candy like that. She puts it half back her mouth.
Dude, I want to know where her other hand was while she was doing that.
That's what I'm saying. What was that? And you got to imagine they took a ton of different videos and they were like, "This is the one."
Jackpot.
Gross. If I trade Lamar, what can I get out of it? I mean, we got to know what you're looking for. But again, I'm never opposed to trading a QB. We got to know who you plan to start. We got to know who you plan to get. But if you have a viable option, you could trade Lamar for someone that's going to be a starting part of your lineup every single week. I do that all the time. Do that all the time. It's not about the sacks, Chris. It's more about the coverage and the fact that you can run on the Falcons. I think most teams are just kind of running against them instead of throwing. Just read the Streamers and Stashes article. My starting RBs this week are 2 of the 3 streamers listed, Tajay and Manangai. Look, man, that's what the article's there for, dude. Deep cut leagues, trying to tread water. I think those guys are fine starts this week. Would you drop Chig for a Royal FFPC? If you have those wide tight ends already, I'm going for the highest upside. That's a Royal. Done. Who's your sneakiest DFS play? The sneakiest one. Here you go. For a bare minimum tight end play, I don't think it's crazy to again, 1 league, 2 maybe. Tanner Hudson pretty much only pass plays when he's on the field, and they actually were giving him the kind of a 3rd down exclusive work last week. He could randomly score a touchdown like he did against the Packers. That's probably my very sneakiest that I can even make a narrative for bare minimum pricing.
I might take a look at Pat Bryant from the Denver
Ooh,
Broncos.
I like
Saw a
that.
little bit of a snap increase. I don't know if Marvin Mims is going to be concussed still, if he's going to get clearance for this week's game. But if Derek Stingley is going to be paying more attention to Cortland Sutton, you're going to have Troy Franklin running around there. Maybe Pat Bryant could be that sneaky long touchdown again.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. My 10 team half PPR, I have Ferg as my tight end, Ingram on the bench. Not thrilled. I'd love to get Gadsden. Would you offer Fergie plus Sharbs or RJ Harvey to get him? Nah, it's too much. I would just roll with Ferg.
Yeah.
If I trade Lamar, what's the most could get? Yeah, mainly you running backs. Let us know who's out there. Mods, please put Greg on timeout.
Oh, it's unbelievable. This guy, right? I mean,
This
it's
guy,
unbelievable.
dude.
He's turned into quite the troll.
Just when you think he's going to get away with getting through a whole show, back on timeout. Yeah, Ingram's been kind of tough. He's still got 4 targets, but he's not playing a full snap share. Yeah, those candies all rule. Thanks, Audie Coop. Jay Dabs didn't feel that way, but he also doesn't know how to ask a question. So goodbye.
It's so hard being as insufferable as I am. Oh, what am I going to do?
Trying to help you.
Trying to help you not sound like an idiot. How about that?
And we made it clear at the very top of the show, very top of every show. Does Tank feel like the pure handcuff to Barkley? After this week, he certainly
kind of does.
Yeah. I have Hurts, Dak, Goff. Should I let Goff go for more depth? Yeah, dude. Yeah, you can do that, dude. I'm not that Goff is not. You're not only never going to start Goff with those guys, but I'm not even worried about someone picking up Goff and playing him against me. Ooh, no, not Goff. Not the guy that has 1 rushing touchdown over the last 5 years. Not worried about it. Okay, here we go. RBs are Kyron and Rico. I dropped Chuba. I have Jefferson and Waddle as my wide receivers. Is it possible to get a top? Yeah, you should be able to get if you're trading away Lamar Jackson, you should get a top 15 running back.
Yeah,
you should. And just know the list of top 15 running backs is not that cool. The running back 15 is like not that awesome, dude. Like I'm talking like Jalen Warren. You know what I mean?
You're not talking. Jalen Warren is not a top 15 running back. He can't be.
When you start doing the math, man. We start doing the math, it gets kind of crazy.
All right, wait. I see this. I need context for here, so I'm going to look at some stats. Top 15 running backs. You want to go full point PPR? I'm fine with that.
For this year, or move? I'm sorry. You're saying so far or moving forward?
Both, dude. Well, let's talk about where he is right now. Right. Let me see. Running back.
Yeah, pull up
fantasy stats, right? Because I don't care about anything but fantasy points here right now. Full point PPR.
PPR points per game.
No, I don't care about points per game.
He got hurt. He missed a game, and he already had his bye week. He's only played like 6 games.
Let's see. Where is he even on this? Is he even on this list?
18. It's RB 18. And you got to remove Cam Scatterbo, so that moves him up to 17. I mean, it's getting close already. Marion Hampton.
He's 18 on points per game. Is that what you're saying? Because he's nowhere near the top. He's out of the top 20 in overall.
In PPR points per game, he's 18. Right in between he's right ahead of Derrick Henry. And behind Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
So probably not exactly 15, but I'm saying it's close. There's not a lot of great running backs out there. There really isn't. If you can trade Lamar Jackson for like Kyron Williams, someone in that range, Ashton Genty, for Derrick Henry, like do that. Don't trade him for Jalen Warren. I was just giving an example of somebody that like you'd be surprised when you actually have to sit down and rank these losers, how high you end up putting.
I mean, the back end. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not trading Lamar Jackson for anything less than like Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift, Kyron Williams. Like, even Derrick,
top 10
even Derrick Henry is not that great, right? Like, I mean, that's, he's fine, but he's not what he once was.
Yeah. I think he's going to pick it up a little bit now that they got Roquan and Lamar back. He got so many of his points last year in games they were winning. In like the fourth quarter closing games out.
I understand, but when was the last time you saw Derrick Henry get stuffed at the goal line 3 times until he had to take it to the outside? When was the last time you
Rookie
saw him
year.
fumbling as much as this? He's getting older. I'm not saying that he's gassed. I'm not saying that he's washed. But if I'm trading Lamar Jackson, who is arguably a top 3 quarterback right now, I'm not. I mean, I'm not going to trade for anything less than. I'm not going to trade for like a Jalen Warren or even an Ashton Genty at this point. Why don't you just trade him for Rico Dowdle? Trade him for Chase Brown. These guys are not worthy.
Would you trade him? Would you trade him for Breece Hall or Quinshon Judkins?
I would trade him for Breece Hall. That's probably like the back end of it. I'm not going to trade him for Judkins with a shoulder injury right now.
So trading Lamar Jackson, you need a top 12 back.
Yes.
That's what we've come to. That's the conclusion we've come to. You need an RB1.
Yes.
Because those other guys aren't worth it. And Breece Hall is probably, when you consider the Hampton and Scatabo injuries, he's probably a fringe. He's a fringe RB1. He is. Okay. Last question. Last 2 questions here. Confidence in Dalton Kincaid. Confidence is a strong word. I have hope that he will get back to a bigger snap share, but he's clearly not healthy. What should I give up for Achane? I would trade Keenan Allen in a heartbeat. He only played 17 snaps. So, yeah, all that stuff for Achane. I mean, that's a lot of players. That guy's not going to do that because he'd have to drop 3 players from his team to do that. But, like, I would trade any combination of those guys for Achane.
100%.
I would.
100%.
There we go. Will the Dolphins stop Derrick Henry?
All right. See, now you're just trolling.
Okay. Here we go. All right, we're with the Breece Hall trade looking less likely. Should I drop Davis for Henderson? Yes, I would do that. Drop Davis for Henderson, and that is gonna be it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to everybody who asked their questions respectfully and properly. And we will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time to do all your start sits. So those were the trades, the DFS stuff. Tomorrow we're gonna do start sits, and we'll give some underdog picks for the Thursday game because we like doing that tomorrow. So. That's going to be it for us, unless Howard Bender has anything for you guys.
Shout out to J Dabs.
Adios, turd nuggets.